Hey guys, welcome back to Between Bells and Cheddar News. I'm Baker Machado in New York, and aiming to remove the stigma that sometimes shadows those who are seeking help. Former Major League Baseball All-Star CC Sabathia is launching a new educational campaign. This is dedicated to alcohol dependence. So joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. CC Sabathia himself. CC, great to have you here on Cheddar News. So let's talk about why you decided to launch the My Relationship with Alcohol campaign here.
I think it was just a perfect partnership for me to team up with Alkermes and, launch this website, myrelationshipwithalcohol.com, just because it made me, rethink my relationship. And if people go to this website, there's different things there that they can see that can help them, maybe get some help with their dependency on alcohol. Alcohol is such a big part of our culture. And, some people like me get dependent on it. So to be able to try to help, people that are in the same situation that I was in 6 years ago, it just felt right to be able to partner up with them.
So, CC, how does the program help evaluate people's dependence on alcohol? How does it do it here?
Yeah, so you can go to the website and there's a questionnaire, and it asks you your drinking pattern. And for me, I just want to erase the stigma of everybody rock bottom is different. You don't have to be court ordered or be in trouble to seek help for alcohol dependency. You may just be tired of waking up hungover or not remember what you did the night before. And if you go to the website, you can fill out this questionnaire, and it's shocking to see some of these questions that you would think that you may be dependent on alcohol.
CC, so many people relied on alcohol to help get them through the pandemic and other substances as well. And now that we're sort of getting out of the pandemic, everybody's sort of reassessing and refiguring out their lives. How did you know that you had a problem with alcohol? And for those that are struggling with it, who's the first person you think they should turn to?
I think you should just reach out to whoever you can. I mean, I realized I had a problem really young. I started drinking at 14 years old and knew I was dependent on it. I had a really rough upbringing. I was going through a lot of different things, and alcohol would always just drown the pain away. So I was always dependent on it. And I knew I needed help, just didn't know how to get help or where to turn to. And the first person I turned to was my wife. So just the closest person to you to turn to try to get help. But the hardest thing, for me was just admitting that I was, dependent on alcohol and needed the help. Once I, admitted that, I got into rehab and was able to turn my life around. There's a bunch of different, programs and different things that people can do, to get help and turn their lives around for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad, CC, you mentioned the hardest part is just admitting this. So your visibility and talking about this is saving so many lives. So thank you, obviously, for doing that. I do want to talk about your memoir, by the way, because you have a new one coming out at the end of the month called Till the End. I'm curious, was it difficult sort of to describe and write about a lot of the struggles that you were going through?
It's not really difficult to write about it. I just didn't think people would be interested, in some of this stuff. I had normalized, being an alcoholic and, having so many people, lost in my life. My grandmother passed away, my father passed away, which was a big one that I talk about in the book a lot. So to let people into, my life and to let them really know, what my life has been like, it's been easy, but I just didn't think people would be that interested in it. So, it's been a lot of fun to get the responses and, to hear some of the responses from people that have read the book and, have read some of the excerpts. So I'm excited for people to really digest it and take it all in.
All right, so CC, let's talk baseball, because obviously a lot happening, especially this week when it comes to pitchers. Umpires are now checking pitchers for any illegal substances that are going to be on the balls now. This, no doubt, is a huge, controversial topic that everybody's got an opinion about right now. I'm curious your take on this. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I was watching DeGrom pitch yesterday, and, it's a hot day, and just watched him basically get undressed on the field. He had to take his belt off, his hat, show his glove. But, I think these are the things that, the players want to see. They want an even playing field. And, I think we all know that, a lot of pitchers use stuff to get a grip on the ball. But I think, there was a subculture of guys that were using, stuff that was actually helping them cheat or get a lot better. So, I know guys, want that substance out of the game, but they want something universal that people can use to get a grip on the ball, because you don't want the ball going all over the place. and people getting hurt.
Well, pitchers are always at a disadvantage, CC. You're always trying to find any which way you can to beat a hitter out there. Is this even fair to pitchers? I mean, this was instituted 2 months into the regular season. I just feel like it's not fair to pitchers at all.
It's a tough deal, but if you look at the batting averages and the action in the games, I mean, some of this stuff is working because there are teams with lineups that, they don't lineups that everybody's hitting under 260. So, as a fan for the sport, for the game, to grow the game, you want more action. So if pitchers got to deal with, getting checked out on the field, I think, guys that do it, to make it an even playing field.
All right, let's talk about the Yankees here. The East is outrageously crazy. It's so tough. You got the Red Sox, Rays, Yanks, and basically the Blue Jays, Blue Jays are playing 500 ball right now. That's all in one division. That's pretty stacked. The Yanks basically kind of lost in all of this. Do you think the Yanks have enough to really pull off to maybe make a run to make it into the playoffs at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think they do. The AL East is always a tough division. Always a tough division to play in. With Toronto getting better and their pitching's gotten a lot better. But I think we do have enough. I say we, as being a former Yankee, but I think the Yankees do have enough to get into the playoffs. I think if the lineup can just get a little more consistent, put the ball in play a little more. Obviously, we have the pitching. Garrett Cole is one of the best pitchers in the league. Jordan Montgomery, Luis Severino's on the way back. So we have the pitch and the bullpen's always solid. So if the lineup can, just start putting the ball in play a little more and not depending so much on the home run, I think we'll be in a better spot.
CC, when former NBA player Jason Collins came out of the closet, you definitely came out and supported him a lot throughout that. We have our first NFL player that just came out, Carl Nassib, yesterday. Major League Baseball now the only sport that doesn't have an openly gay active player right now. Do you believe the sport is open and available for a player to finally come out and announce who they are?
Yeah, I think so. I just think it's dependent on the person. If Carl felt comfortable, announcing, that he wanted to come out yesterday, I just think it depends on the person if they feel comfortable. I think the sports world, I think the world in general is ready for, whoever wants to come out and live their life. So, I think baseball is open for it, but I think the person has to be comfortable enough to come out and tell their truth.
All right, MLB All-Star CC Sabathia, always a pleasure to have you here on Cheddar, CC. Thanks so much for joining us.